Hi students. So we have not finished the Match My Parabola Desmos activity, and I think that I'm just going to use video to help catch you up because we are running out of time during class time. The school year is almost over, and so I think that it's important for me to guide you, but it is also important, and I must stress this, you all are not writing anything down. You're expecting yourself to remember advanced math terms, techniques, without writing anything down. So I'm going to show you some things that I would write down for this activity. And then the activity itself, I'm going to explain some things through it so that you can think through it and get it finished. If you want to work with a partner at home, because this is going to turn into a YouTube video, you can do that, or you can do it on your own. Most of the assignments that are in Desmos you can do on a tablet or on your phone. I don't really recommend that. So I'm just going to walk you through it, okay? Greetings, students. So a lot of you are having trouble with this assignment. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you what to do when you have difficulty with finding patterns. So you see it says that you are going to match my parabola. So these are your parabolas, okay? These are quadratic functions, and you need to understand that when you don't understand something, you look for patterns, okay? So it says go to the next screen, and then it says type in y equals x squared, okay? So you just type in, and you can use the keyboard here. If you don't see, I don't know why I didn't see the y on here, because it's usually down below. Oh, sorry, it's over here on the right. There it is. Okay, so and then x squared. Okay, so then you submit it. Okay, and then you go to the next one. So now this one is saying to plot 5 parabolas. Again, these are quadratic functions. And then you're going to plot the 5 parabolas, one through each set of color coordinated points. Now I'm going to show you one of each. So right now you see y equals x squared, just like you see y equals x squared on this screen. And so what is going to happen to the y equals x squared? Now there are 3 forms of a quadratic function. So one is standard form, and this is also the parent function of a quadratic function or a parabola. And then you have vertex form, and then you have factored form, or sometimes they call it intercept form. Okay? So when you click on these numbers, you see the points that they go through. So your job is to move, right? So the blue parabola is this parabola, but it's shifted up by 3. So you type in y equals x squared plus 3. And then you click check my work. So as you can see, it moved up from here to here by 3. Okay? So now I'm going to, you have to figure out the orange one. You click on the dot and you see how much it moved down. So I'm going to do the one that always seems to be the most confusing one, which is moving to the right. So you see that the vertex is 4, comma 0. So I would, for the green one, use the vertex form. So y equals, in parentheses, x minus 4, then I would square it. Everything must be squared or you don't have a quadratic function. You don't have a parabola, okay? And then it is not moved up or down. So you leave it with plus 0. And because it's in vertex form, I'm going to include the plus 0, okay? Now your job is to figure out the purple one and the orange one. Okay. So for this one, it says Eric thinks that equation parentheses x minus 3 squared will match the blue graph. Jenny thinks it will match the red graph. That is for you to figure out. You must remember how you moved the parent function at 0, 0 over to the green function that has a vertex of 4, 0. So you must remember, and I would even say write down what you just did. Okay? Hopefully I can provide some of those tips of when you should write. Okay? So this one is for you to decide. Now this one, it says to plot 5 parabolas. Each parabola should pass through the origin and a pair of color coordinated points. One is done for you. So what is the difference between the parent function here at 0, 0 and the one that they have plotted for you, which is y equals 3x squared? So you must, every parabola is going to go through 0, 0. So what is actually happening? The parabola is going to get wider, or it's going to get smaller, meaning that the curve is closer together on each side, or it's going to flip upside down. Okay? So I'm going to do the one that flips upside down because that one tends to confuse people. So I'm going to type in y equals, and I'm going to say, because these dots, okay, so this is -1, -2, 1, -2, and then this one is similar, but it's at 3. So both of the y values are going through the number 3, right? The coordinate -1, 3 and 1, 3. So you have to look at that and say, okay, then this one that I'm going to type in has to be similar to it. Not just like it, but similar. Okay? So I'm going to try 2x. Well, actually, I'm going to try something that I know is not right. X squared. Okay? And then I'm going to check my work. Okay? So, it's definitely not that one because it's going through these points and I'm still going through those. So now I'm going to try negative. Then I'm going to check my work. I got it to flip upside down. So now what should I do? Possibly, since the bigger the number is, the closer the sides of the curve get together. So I'm going to go down one. I'm going to go down to -2 and boom, there it is. Okay? You have to figure out which one. The green one. Okay? I am going to do the blue one, and then you have to figure out the purple one. So you have to notice that the red curve, the red parabola, is similar to the orange one, yet it's a negative in front of it. Think about that. Okay? And then I'm going to possibly give you some ways that you should write things down in a notebook on a daily basis. It's part of the reason why you may not remember things, because you're not writing. Okay? You need to make connections. That's what mathematics is all about. Problem solving, making connections, knowing how to answer questions properly, all of that. Okay? So for the blue dots, I'm all the way out here. So that means that the number here, see, this one is the red one, right, is a bit it's compressed. It's not stretched out. Okay, and compressed just means that the sides of the curve are closer together. Okay, the orange one is a little bit more wide, and look at the difference in number. The red one has a 3 in front of x squared, and the orange one has a 2, but it's negative, but that made it a little bit wider. So that means that the smaller the number gets, the wider the parabola gets. So if I'm going to go to the blue one, I'm going to say to myself, well, it has to be a number that's smaller than 2. And it can't be 1, because that would be y equals x squared. So I'm going to try a half. So 1 divided by 2, then hit your arrow, and then x squared. And let's check it. Well, look at that. So I'm not quite through those 2 blue dots. So I'm going to try 4, because I don't really think that 3 would stretch me out more. Uh-oh, I'm getting closer. So now I'm going to try 5. And look at that. Now your job is to flip the parabola and go through those dots. How did we flip the parabola? Let's just go back to that again. How did we flip it? By putting a negative in front of x squared. Okay, so this is for the Match My Parabola activity. All right, now I'm looking at my iPad with the activity on it. So when I click on challenge number 1, so I'm just going to write the word challenge 1 time. It tells me to write or type in the box y equals x squared, and that is a parabola. Okay, has a vertex 0, 0. All right, and then the coordinates that it goes through is 1, 0, and then -1, 0. So right then you should see that there's a pattern. This is the parent function. For a quadratic. Now I'm writing a lot because I have practiced this a lot. So I know a lot about quadratic functions. But what I need to do is that when I go to challenge number 2, so I'm going to put some quotation marks and then put number 2, it asks me to do the same thing, but move the function up. And I'm pretty sure the one that I did was where you move the function up. So it's y equals, the blue one is y equals x squared plus 3. What changed between this function right here and this function here? All I did was shift y equals x squared up by +3. Now, what I would do if I were you is each function, this one was the blue one, so I'll put blue here, maybe draw an arrow or something, and then give yourself some little notes for the green one, the orange one, and the purple one. Okay. The one where we're talking about Eric and Jenny, you can write yourself notes about what happened in the previous challenge to give you some guidance for the next challenge. Then challenge number 3 has, well, let me just put it this way. Y is equal to ax squared is the parent function. What is a equal to? It's equal to number 1. But when we write it, we don't put the number 1 in front of x squared. We just don't do it. You have to know that there is a 1 and the 1 in front of x squared, and it's the coefficient. That's the proper term. But you can also say whatever number goes in front of x squared, not x. It's x squared, okay? And remember, the square comes from the term saying it's squared is from an actual square. So the area of a square is the side times the side, which gives us, so if I say what is the area of this square, and this is connected to geometry, it's x times x, which is equal to x squared. Okay, that's where it comes from. So you have to carry that into every single parabola that you're trying to draw. Okay, so in challenge number 3, I believe I did the one that is the orange one, and so the orange graph ended up being y equals, it's a flip, right? So when a is less than 1, or sorry, when a is negative. So when I say less than 1, just think about it as negative, right? It's not in between 0 and 1. So this is a negative number. And what does the negative a do? When a is negative, I'm just going to write in parentheses, negative, then the parabola flips upside down. Okay, that's my little drawing. Okay, so I believe it was the orange one was y equals negative 2x squared. Okay. So now we have a vertex, right? Which is 4, negative 2. And then we have an x-intercept at 6, 0. And then we have a y-intercept at 0, 6. There's all kinds of ways that you can think about this. But because we have a vertex, I'm going to stick with the vertex form. So I'm going to type in y equals, parentheses, x, that's minus 4. Then I need to square it. That's something that a lot of students continue to forget. And then this is negative 2. So then I'm going to move it down by 2. Okay? So I have it through the vertex, but my parabola is not going through the x-intercept nor the y-intercept. So how can I make it wider? How did I stretch it out? That's what you have to think about. How did I stretch it out? By putting a number in front of x squared. Now, it's x minus 4 squared, but it's the same principle. So I like to always start with 1/2. Don't ask me why. I just like to start with 1/2, and there it is. Now you have to do that. And when the challenges get more difficult, you have to remember what you did before. For this one, it says adjust the equations to create 3 different parabolas that pass through the points. So if you look at the red one, the blue one, and the green one, they are all in factored form or intercept form. I am going to let you figure those out. Okay? So it says adjust the equations to create 3 different parabolas that pass through the points. And where are the points? Here and here. You have to figure those out. You just have to. Okay? They're gonna have maybe different vertex. Well, of course they do, because even if I change this one to, what is it going through? This one is 3 and this one is -4. So if I change this one to 3 and then I change this one to 4, my parabola is going through both of those points. Do you see that? Now you have to figure out the other 2. All right. These are the ones that I think are the most fun. Okay. So what do you have to think about? Well, let's go back. All of these are factored form. All of these have x-intercepts. Do you see that? They all have x-intercepts. Okay? So I would use factor form. So y equals, and I'm pretty sure that all of them are have a coefficient of 1, but I could be wrong. So let's start with the red one. So the red one has 2 x-intercepts. One is -7, and one is 5. So, well, it's -7, 0, and then -5, 0. But we're only looking for the x values. So it'd be x plus 7, and then parentheses, x plus 5. Okay. Now I'm going to do one that is, let's see, we'll do we'll do the orange one, because that is an actual flip. So we'll do the orange one. So we're going through 2, 0 and 4, 0. So we'll do the same exact thing. So x, it's just now, because it's on the other side, my x-intercepts are positive, so it's going to be x minus, sorry about that, x minus, it was 2, and then x minus 4. Oops, look at that, I made a mistake. That's because I'm getting tired. So minus. Now it is your job to figure out the rest of those. Okay, so this one, we have plot 5 parabolas with the same x-intercepts but different vertices. That means a different vertex. Okay. So the red one, where am I? Ooh. So that means that my y-intercept is 80. So I would probably do y equals let's see here. Okay, so we are going to use the same intercept form, but we're going to change the number in front of, or the a value. We're going to change the number that's in front of the function. Okay, so, and remember, when we multiply two two groups, when we multiply two expressions in parentheses, we get the x squared. You just don't see squared, but it is. It's x times x. And then there's some other things with the FOIL method that you do, but in any case. So, and then, you have 4 multiplied by negative 4, which is negative 16. And when you multiply negative 16 and negative 5, you get 80. Okay? So it's a whole lot of trial and error. But what you're going to do, because really all you have to do, I don't know if I can copy this. Nope, I can't, I'm not even going to try it. What you have to do in each one of them is always include x plus 4. It's just the easiest way to do it, x minus 4. And then you need to change the number that is in front of the parentheses. So try numbers. My hint to you is there are no fractions. Okay? And then it says which equation will match the graph below. So we have an x-intercept there and an x-intercept there. So because we have the x-intercept is negative 2, so that means in the parentheses, it's going to be x plus 2. So it's either going to be the first one or the second or the last one. So it's either going to be this one or it's going to be this one. Okay. Now you have to determine the other one, which is the x-intercept is 5, 0, right? So that means that the in parentheses you're going to have x minus 5. And hopefully I can show you why that is on paper, okay? Now, you have a choice. Is there a negative in front of it for that one? Or is it no negative? So again, you have to determine based on one like this, which one flips upside down. Just talk to yourself. Orange one flips upside down. Is this one upside down? No. So you have to choose which one it is. Now, if I were going to, if I needed to explain, I would say this function or parabola has x-intercepts at negative 2, that's not negative, 2, 0, and 5, 0, and therefore I used the intercept form and wrote the opposite opposite sign in parentheses, okay? Something like that. Then you have to choose which one it is. It opens up, so I chose whatever one it is. It opens down, so I chose whatever one it is. You have to decide. And I wonder, can I record? I don't know. I don't want to click record. I'm not going to do that since I'm recording. All right. So now you get to utilize everything that you did, right? So you know that you have 2 x-intercepts, right? And so you have to figure out what you're actually going to use. It says try to do it 2 different ways. I showed you the vertex way And you have a vertex right there, -4, 3. All right. Next one, same thing. You have to try something. You don't have any x-intercepts, but you do have a vertex. So you need to remember that in order to make it wider, you put fractions in front of the parentheses. I would use vertex form for this one. Now it says try it 3 different ways. That is definitely a challenge, right? But I showed you 3 different ways, okay? I'm going to give you the hardest one, okay? So y equals -1 divided by 6 x squared plus x plus 4.5. And again, how did I get there? How does anyone get there? By trial and error. Okay? Let's see, what are the intercepts are here. So I would use intercept form and then I would do vertex form. Okay? There's also the clue for your y-intercept comes from the dot that's on the y-axis. And then what equation would produce this graph? Again, oops. Did it purposely do that to me? Well, you can see where it is. So you go over 1 and up 8. And then you can see what that one is, where those are. And then the y-intercept is there. Okay? Just give it a try. Now it says sketch the graph. Well, you know that the vertex is going to be from this number. I don't know why it's not letting me write. Oh, I know why. So the vertex is 2, -4. So you go over 2 and down -4. And you place your dot there. Now you have to figure out the rest. Please use Desmos. And then explain your thinking. Explain what you see. Okay? So, this is something that is, you just have to do it. Ignoring it does not help you. Okay? But at this point, this assignment is extremely late. So, you have to use this video to get it completed. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Now I'm going to skip, because I gave you a lot of instruction, to challenge number 6. Okay. So, no matter what, we are talking about, so it doesn't matter which one I did in the video, but we are talking about a parabola, right? And I'll just draw one and then put 2 dots here and then draw a line for the x-axis, right? Because these things right here are called x-intercepts. And what does that mean? It crosses the x-axis. That's all it means. So remember, we have the vertex form, which is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And what does the h and the k mean? Shift left or right, shift up or down. This also makes it shrink or stretch, meaning it gets wider or it gets skinnier And then also it flips it. So if A is negative, it flips it. And I wrote that here. This is the kind of reflection that you have to do. And if you do this, every single one of you can take calculus and pass calculus. Okay? A lot of critical thinking. So whichever one I did in the video, you are just going to consider where those dots are crossing, or you can play around with the vertex form. Okay? And then the one where we're plotting 5 parabolas, that's challenge number 7. We are going to use the same x-intercepts, right? Because it's going to go through the black dots. So we're going to use, no matter what, we have some number in front of x plus 4 times x minus 4. And I do believe in the video I did say that this is still x squared. So I'm going to show you when I multiply the two together. So x plus 4 multiplied by x minus 4. The first two terms are x times x. The outside terms are minus 4 times x. And I don't write the times symbol between the number and the letter. And then this is plus 4x. So these two terms multiply together, plus 4x. And then the last two terms are negative 4 times 4. And I'm going to get x squared. These terms cancel, and I'm going to get minus 16. Okay? So there are other ways to figure this out, but then there's a number in front that you have to insert there. Okay, so this is just a little quick review of the FOIL method. Okay. So, but this is the kind of stuff, you don't have to necessarily FOIL, but I wanted to show you that you still end up with an x squared when you multiply these two together. But what I need you to understand is that in challenge number 7, you are going to use this repeatedly. You're only changing the number in front of the first set of parentheses. And then you have to do the consider equations one. That's slide number 10. And then the challenge number 8, I'm going to let you take care of that. And I think you can handle the rest of the challenges based on my video. Okay?